we have these conversations with folks from the other side of the political aisle all the time about what the Constitution says and what the Constitution calls out. Right? And this person here is an example of these conversations. The Constitution does not mention in any way, shape, or form the right to health care, the right to abortion, or the right to have a livable wage. Name such enumerated sections of the Constitution. TikTok cut off the bottom there. You're right. The Constitution does not specifically say you have a right to health care. The Constitution does not specifically say you have a right to a livable wage. The Constitution does not specifically say you have a right to get an abortion. Then again, the Constitution does not specifically say guns either, but we're not even going to have that conversation because the thing that folks like you always seem to gloss over, or it's either that you gloss over it or you don't understand it. It's that the Constitution discussed and took into consideration laws that would be created in this country that would not specifically be called out in the Constitution. The Ninth Amendment, for example, says the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. It's calling out here that there are going to be laws that are going to be created that these founding fathers did not take into consideration. And just because they're not called out here doesn't mean that they're not valid laws. You have Article 1, Section 8. To make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers, and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States, or in any department or office thereof. It once again is talking about the ability for elected officials to make laws that are going to be necessary to adhere to this document itself. And they're not specifically calling out those laws because they can't tell what those laws are going to be in the future. And then I would just direct you to the 14th Amendment, Section 1. All persons born and naturalized. You know this this section. We've talked about it ad nauseum, right? This is the section that talks about due process. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. I want you to read the extraordinarily broad definition they're putting out there, right? No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. And then here's where I really want you to pay attention. Nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property. Who are you to say what another person's liberty is, right? Maybe another person's liberty is getting an abortion. Maybe another person's liberty is having a livable wage. Maybe another person's liberty is having a right to health care. They don't specifically call out a whole bunch of shit in the Constitution. That doesn't mean that we don't have rights to them, because the Constitution gave us the power to continuously make laws at the federal level, the state level, the county level, the local level, that shall govern the people and adhere to the Constitution. There's no way the Founding Fathers could have seen a number of things. I don't think the Founding Fathers in their, my personal opinion, I don't think the Founding Fathers in their time could have possibly foreseen that people in this country would be arguing over whether or not people who are sick should get medicine. But that's my opinion. You know, you may think differently. Anyway, the Constitution does take into consideration laws that it never created. It never calls out specifically. And I don't understand if you folks from the conservative right purposely gloss over that, or if you truly don't understand it.